A few months ago, my Etsy shop did the one thing I opened it to do. It made back every dollar that I invested to start it. The machine, the materials, all of it paid back in sales revenue within 6 months of having the shop open. And the moment that happened, I decided to slow it down on purpose. And that sounds backwards, but by the end of this video, you'll see why that decision was probably one of the best decisions I've made since I've started the shop. If you're building something in the margins of a very busy life, for me, it's in 30 to 45-minute increments a few times a week when I can get it. The hardest skill isn't working hard, it's working in the right order. Because at this scale, you can't do everything at once, which means the real question isn't what do I build, it's what do I build first. And for some reason, nobody shows you their sequencing, so I'm going to show you mine. I'm building multiple streams of income online using social media monetization as a primary driver to pay off almost $93,000 worth of student loan debt. The Etsy shop was stream number 1, and my first sale came within 3 days of opening that shop. I've become a star seller status twice within the span of 9 months of having that shop, and my shop is a 5-star rated shop. When I opened it, I gave it exactly one job to do before anything else, which was basically make back the money I put into it. And that number was very real. For me, it was almost $1,000 between the Cricut Venture Machine bundle that I got and a couple materials that I needed to get started. That was the absolute bare minimum goal for me. It wasn't make me rich, it was just prove that this is a real business by earning back what you put into it. And I did exactly that in the spring of 2026, within 6 months of having the shop, as I mentioned. And every dollar of that investment came back as sales revenue. And I want to be clear about the difference because the difference matters and I do understand the difference. This was sales revenue, not profit. Profit is the next checkpoint and goal that I'm working towards, and I'm going to be documenting that the same exact way. But the one major goal that I had for the shop is complete. And here's where it gets interesting because phase 2 is going to be even bigger. I want the shop to grow into something that can legitimately replace part of my full-time job salary. That in combination with everything else that I'm building across social media streams and digital products, etc. So you would think that the obvious next move would be to scale the shop, which means more listings, pushing it even more marketing, more sales, more everything. But instead, I decided to take a step back and slow it down on purpose. And here's the reasoning, because the reasoning is something that you can steal for yourself. Hitting payback was a natural chapter break. It's probably one of the cleanest breaks that a shop can get. And before starting the scaling chapter, I needed to really sit down and think about what scaling actually requires of me. Because to scale the way that I want requires 2 things. It requires expanding the physical product line and introducing digital products to the shop as well. Both of those work dramatically better when there's an audience attached to it. A new product launched to strangers fights Etsy's search listings and a sea of other listings that you have to compete with, which is fine and I've been able to do successfully. But a new product launched to people who watched it get made, that starts the momentum on day 1. And there's also a second thing that I could not ignore. Physical products and social media do not grow the same way. Every physical product costs me materials, time, shipping time. A video costs me once and it keeps working forever. And I'm not walking away from physical products. I absolutely love making things with my own hands and selling them. That's the whole reason for it. But I would have been foolish to not explore other streams of income that don't require the same constraints as physical products. Meaning my YouTube channel, my TikTok, my Instagram, the digital products that I'm working on, while the shop sits at its natural milestone. The choice was never shop or no shop. It was start the scaling chapter now with 0 audience, or spend one focused season building the audience in the digital layer first, and then start the scaling chapter with an engine behind it. And there's one specific way this season feeds directly back into the shop. I'll get into it in a minute because it's the whole reason this is a loop and not a detour. Here's what the redirected time has actually built so far, not theoretical, what it's actually producing in real time. First is the build blog itself, the series that you're watching right now on YouTube. This series was launched on May 31st of 2026, and it's already gotten me past the 1 YouTube goal that I had for June of 2026. The second thing that I produced was my short form system across Instagram and TikTok, which for brand new accounts that are only 2 weeks old, I've been seeing some really good success on there as well, and I'm very excited for that momentum. And the third thing that I'm most excited about is the digital products, which are the dashboards that I'm creating for myself, which will eventually become digital products that I put out for sale, and that's the loop I planted earlier. The digital products don't just live on their own. The digital products are part of the next chapter for the shop too. The same shop that sells what I make with my hands is now going to start selling what I built in spreadsheets, which means no materials, no packaging, no shipping time. This is indefinitely repeatable for me. The season away from the shop is literally producing the shop's next product line. So here's the full sequence from start to finish. Phase 1 was open the shop, learn the platform, make back your investment. That is done. Phase 2 is what's happening now. Build the shop in the digital layer while the shop is idling. It's still open, it's still selling, it's still shipping. I'm just not actively pushing that process. And phase 3 is going to be the scaling chapter. Expanded physical product line, digital products that get introduced into the shop, and launched to an audience that watched all of it get built. And the long-term goal for all of this is not small. I want e-commerce and social media monetization to eventually completely pay off my student loans. So that means $93,000 worth of student loan debt will eventually be wiped away by my efforts that I'm putting in now. And even beyond that, I would love for this to eventually replace part of my daytime salary, as I mentioned. At the start, I said I slowed my shop down after it hit its biggest goal, and that it sounds backwards. But here's the reframe. I didn't pause the shop because something went wrong. I paused the push because everything went right. The shop finished the first job that I gave it, and the next job that I'm going to give it is big enough that it deserves every advantage that I can build for it. So if you're also building in real time, the lesson isn't pause your thing. When you hit a real milestone, that's not just a win, it's a decision point for you. Use it to ask yourself what the next chapter actually needs. Order is going to matter more than effort at that current stage. The early numbers for monetization are in the previous video, and subscribe if you want to follow along on my next chapter with scaling my Etsy shop to include even more physical products and introduce digital products for sale.